Hey everyone, it's Jason. So today's video we're going to actually play a game of the Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. I already have everything set up, so this is going to be interesting. We'll see if this works or not. With the camera setup I have, it might be very terrible, but we'll see what we can do. But I have our power board set up over here. I have our main area. I'm going to play at the base 5 Rangers. I'm going to play a variation kind of the starter game, with some exception. I'm going to use extra things I have, like, tokens I have, like the board for the enemy cards, which I have extra stuff of. Plus I have dice for every character. But I'm going to play as all 5 Rangers of the original Power Rangers. So we're going to be playing as Yellow Ranger, Trini Kwan, Black Ranger, Zack Taylor, Blue Ranger, Billy Cranston, Pink Ranger, Kimberly Hart, Red Ranger, Jason Lee Scott, and I'm going to play with an extra variant of Alpha 5 as the anonymous support, or autonomous support as an AI. It's just an extra, kind of beginner deck. Rather than playing exactly like the scenario 0 where you take out some cards and stuff, I'm going to play with all the full cards, but I figure it's the extra Alpha card and support that might help me out. So we're going to see what happens there. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to do the 4 deployment instead of 5. I'm going to have my camera kind of set back. I'm going to hope that it'll still pick up all of my audio. And I can kind of keep track and let you guys know what's going on here. So we'll start off with kind of a full view so we can see the board. So the first thing we want to do in the game is do our deployment. So we have our deployment deck right here, and we're going to do, again, we're going to do 4 deployments. So we're going to start with 2 Super Putties in Angel Grove Park. If I need to grab more of these guys, I will. Alright, so we got 2 guys there. Deployment 2, 2 regular Putties in the Industrial District. 1 Super Putty at Ernie's Juice Bar. And 3 Putties at Angel Grove High. Ooh, so I got kind of nice because everything kind of got sorted out. No one piled up at one area. Yeah, so now everyone's all in one spot, so it's kind of nice. So what we do is we can just take these, shuffle these back up. Slide them back under the deck, and they can get ready to come out later if they need to. Alright, I'm going to zoom up a little bit here. Alright, so now we have our deployment phase. So if you're not familiar exactly with how the Power Ranger game works, it's a co-op game, but instead of it being like player 1, player 2, player 3 go, you all have to actually work very well as a team. So I have my 5 Rangers in here, going as Alpha hiding back there. And now I have to deploy each one of them to a different area. So if I zoom down here a bit and look at Billy's here. So Billy has his deck of 10 cards, which is basically his life. If his deck runs out, then you lose. Basically, your character is defeated, and you have to go back. You each have your special abilities. You have 1 energy that you'll start with, so it helps to pay for your cards. There's also shared energy you can use from the base game, from the pool. And then you have 2 action tokens. Your actions are... Let's see if it's set on here. So your actions... I'm going to hold my rule book up here. So you can move from the one main location to another location. You can initiate a battle, and you can choose to recover, which lets you shuffle your discard pile back into your deck to gain your life back. Alternatively, if you ever go back to the command center, you can then reshuffle your entire deck. So if you're about to die, that might be something you have to do. But now what I have to do is determine how I want to sort my different characters out. And who I want to put where. So since everyone has a full deck of cards, I'm not as worried there. But I can kind of think of like who I think is the strongest or who can maybe take out the most guys. I don't necessarily want to. I want to try and clear out as many areas as I can, but I don't want to run the risk of not being able to take somebody out. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to take. So we're going to start with the Red Ranger. So he's going to move over to Angle Grove Park, and he's going to join the Pink Ranger. So they're both going to move over there. So now I have to do is flip over one of each of their tokens. I think I'm going to have the Black Ranger take care of this Ernie's juice bar by himself, and I'm going to have the Blue and Yellow Ranger each move over to there. Alright, so now I've moved everybody, and you can see I flipped over a couple of their tokens where you can kind of see that. That's showing they've each done one action. Now what you have to do is, starting with whichever player I want to start with, they can spend one of their actions to initiate a battle. Now, being that there's two Rangers, the pink and red and the yellow and blue are together, they can, each one of them can initiate one action. So I can do one round of battle. If I don't win, I can do a second round of battle. And no one's going to be in the industrial district, unless for some reason I move someone there. And then everyone has special abilities they can do as well. So we'll look at them when I get into their combat. The other thing we want to look at before we start any of that is our special Alpha 5 card. So where's Alpha here? It says, at the start of each round, reveal the cards from the Alpha 5 deck to refill the row max 3. Any Ranger may discard one card from their hand to play an Alpha card from the row. After resolving it, place it back on the Alpha 5 deck. So it basically gives me extra options. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. What I did do is now I have a 20 card deck here because I shuffled both versions of Alpha 5 together. So I'm going to try and just see what that works like. I'm hoping this might give me just that extra boost. I might not need to use any of these cards. I'm going to try not to necessarily use them, but I thought it might be helpful to have the extra bonus. So we do have a couple different cards here. So we have Tactical Support. A Ranger of your choice may drop to 2 cards and immediately play 1. So basically I can, if I have a bunch of cards in my deck, I can gain an extra play for free. I can gain 3 energy, which would be super helpful for playing a big card. Or I have a 1-cost Coordinate card, so it costs me 1 of my energy tokens. Play this card before another Ranger performs an attack. Add 1 dice to the attack. That Ranger may return that card to their hand instead of discarding it. So that's actually super helpful. So I can give them an extra bonus, or I can let them have it back in their hand. So we'll just set those kind of off to the side, and we'll kind of have to keep an eye on those. I think who we're going to start with, since he only has, by himself, is we're going to start with Zack here, the Black Ranger. So Zack Taylor's special ability is, if my camera will focus enough for you to read it, it says once per battle, after you defeat an enemy with an attack, you may deal 1 hit to another enemy adjacent to your target. So he does good splash damage. So with that being said, maybe he wasn't the guy to put by himself. I just figured he might have more powerful attacks. But I forgot. He does have splash damage, but yeah, I haven't played all these characters or read all these characters enough. So we'll just see what happens. If I lose, I lose. It's not that big of a deal. Alright, so we're going to spend his other token to initiate a battle. So, what are our steps for initiating a battle? So we got, look at our book here. So you got Ranger Preparation. I had 2 energies to the shared pool, which is over by my Zord board. So that means now, technically, Zack has up to 3 energy he can use this turn. Now, every battle, you always add 2 energies. So you might want to just use them up and not spend your personal energy if you don't have to, because that doesn't refill. And then enemy preparation. For each foot soldier, draw 1 card from the enemy deck. If a boss monster is present, draw 4 cards from their deck. And then enemy and ranger turns. On each ranger turn, the team chooses a ranger to play a combat card, and then the enemies go. So that's what also makes this game really unique. Is because if you have two players, like the pink and the red ranger, or blue and yellow, when they play, the rangers take a turn, then the enemies take a turn. Then the rangers, it's not necessarily blue ranger, then enemy, then yellow ranger, then enemy, then blue ranger. It could be blue ranger, blue ranger, blue ranger, then yellow ranger. It might just depend on what cards they have in their hand, who has the better option for the time being. Since we only have the black ranger, though, he is the only one that gets to do anything. So first thing I do is I get to draw up to 5 cards from my deck. Now, being this is my life, you only want to draw as many cards as you really think you can stand. Being the beginning of the game, I'm not really too worried about it. I'm going to draw 5 cards. And let's see what we got here. So we got Smooth Moves that cost 0. It says reaction. Play this card when any ranger suffers damage. Reduce that damage by 2 and gain an energy. So that probably won't help me in this match. Reckless Blow. I get to roll 2 dice for the cost of 1. Before rolling, I may discard the top card of your deck, add 2 dice to this attack. So I can roll up to 4 dice. So that could be a good power attack. Mammoth Slam. Roll 2 dice. If there are 4 more cards in your discard pile, add 1 die to this attack. So again, that'll be helpful for later. And another Smooth Moves and another Reckless Blow. So yeah, he's got some good cards there. So I'm just going to play these down in front of me just so I can see what they all are. We got them kind of played down there. Now what we want to do though is look up at our... sorry for it. There's my EV play mat up there. So now we have 1 Super Putty. So we're going to draw 1 card from my Putty deck over here, which is way over there. And we're going to place that down and see what it does. So this card has 2 health, has fast and guard, and it's going to drain 1 energy. Alright, so this really sucks. So what fast does is that means the opponent gets to play first. So usually it's the rangers first, but fast means they get to go first. So right off the bat, they're going to... Guard would mean it would protect another card, but there's no other enemies, so that's not an issue there. Basically, guard means you can't attack the cards around it. You have to defeat this first. But this has 2 health, and it's going to drain 1 of my energy. So we're going to have... So now what's going to happen is the enemy's turn going to activate. This is going to turn sideways. He's going to drain 1 of my energy. I'm going to drain 1 from way... Let's see if I can get my camera way over here on this Zord board. This is my shared energy. I'm going to drain 1 of those rather than my personal energy because, again, that doesn't replenish. So now all you have to do is play to do 2 damage to that character to defeat him. So my best bet for him to be able to do this is probably to play Reckless Blow. So it's going to cost me 1, so I'm going to pay from that shared energy pile again. This is before rolling. I may discard the top card of my deck to add 2 to this attack. So I'll discard the top card of my deck, which is my Blade Blaster. Now I'll discard that. Pay that 1 energy. And now I get to roll 4 dice. Alright. So now we're going to roll 4 dice. The dice are going to have 3 sides. We have a miss, we have a single hit, and we have a double hit. So I need to do is get hit at least 2 of these. So, alright, let's see what we got. Well, so we annihilated him. We got 3, 4, 5. So we just annihilated that guy's room. Now, if I wouldn't have beat him, that would have ended the round. Nothing would have happened. Now, if I had gone first, I could have possibly defeated that before he got a chance to attack. But that didn't unfortunately happen. So we beat him. Alright, so we'll put that back. So what happens here is this guy... Rotate my camera back over to my playboard. He goes over on this power board. Now, when that gets full, I get to move this up and I get to draw a Zord card. So the more enemies I can defeat, the better. Also on the board are these little numbers here. This is the panic spot. So when there's that many figures on that board or enemies, the board becomes panicked. If all 4 areas become panicked, I also lose the game. If a monster or a boss appears, it automatically panics it. There's rules for deployment stuff, so I want to try and take out as many of these guys as I can before a potential monster appears. So we've got Ernest's juice bar clear, so we can always, call that good. So now I take Zack's hand. I'm just going to, turn it sideways next to his character down here. So I just have it turned sideways, face up, just so I know that's his hand. And I got his discard pile up there. Just so we know what's what. Alright. Let's resolve. Okay, so this goes away. We'll put that in that discard pile. Let's resolve Billy and Trini's. So what we do now is, since you have two rangers, we have to take this lead ranger token. I have to decide who's initiating battle. They become my lead ranger. And that just affects because there's certain cards that will attack lead rangers. So we'll give that card to Trini, and we'll flip over her other action. So now she can't perform any more actions this turn. Now actions are, again, just the movement or stuff like that. So it's still what Trini does. She has double strike. Once per battle, after you play a card, you may immediately play another card with the same name. So this might definitely help us be able to take out multiple things. And then Billy's is, once per battle, a ranger of your choice may draw one card, then place one card from their hand back on top of their deck. So that could definitely help out too, because especially working with Trini where she wants two of the same cards. She could draw a card and then get that. It also works nice for defense cards. So, like, if we looked at Zack's cards here, if you take damage, you have to discard versus how much damage you take from the enemy. And then how many shields you are is how many you block. So these block 2, that one blocks 1. So there's some that have 3 as well. So with Billy being a defense character, the Blue Ranger, that's really helpful to maybe put a high shield card back on your deck, but it could be used for another reason. Alright, so we are going to first draw our cards. We're going to start with 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 for Trini. What does Trini have here? Where is my camera again? We have the Twin Fang Teamwork. Reaction. Play this card after another ranger resolves an attack. Deal 1 hit to target of that attack. So now this could be a great way. If Billy attacks, she could do a free extra point of damage, which might be enough to defeat them. She has Sabertooth Strike. 1 costs 2 dice. If this attack defeats your target, it may immediately perform a second attack with 2 dice. So basically I get to do that attack a second time. Which could be very good. And we have Power Dagger. This is every character has a power weapon, which always costs 3. So this lets me roll 4 dice. After you resolve the attack, a ranger of your choice may immediately play 1 card. So basically I get to play a free card. We have another Twin Fang Teamwork, and we have Tenacity. Gain 1 energy, choose 2 cards from your discard pile, return them to the top of your deck in any order. So this lets her get those cards back out she might need. Alright, so we're just going to kind of splay her cards out so we can see what we need. We're going to draw Billy's cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, next battles or later battles, I might not want to draw back up to 5. I might want to keep less if I need more cards in my deck to stay alive. So he has Tactical Strike, 0 cost, 2 dice. After you play this card, place it on top of your deck instead of discarding it. His Power Lance, 4 dice. After you play this card, place it on top of your deck instead of discarding it, so he gets his defense abilities. He does have these special cards, so here he has Counter Jab. It says roll 1 dice, and does 1 free hit. And then it says, if for defense, if you reveal this card, deal 1 hit to an enemy of your choice. So if you can put this card back on your deck, you get a free hit. He's got 2 of those, and he's got another Tactical Strike. So he looks like he's more for defense, but we'll see what we have. So we want to put 2 more shared energy back into the basic power. So now where Zack was by himself, I was free to use both of them energy because they're going to resolve. Now I could use them for each and play a power weapon, but that means the other player doesn't have access to it. So it's kind of got to watch what we do there. Alright, so we're going to go back over to this board. We have 3 Putty Patrollers. So our first Putty card is Flanking. It says, well, as cards in play, each time another enemy card is deal damage, increase that damage by 1. So that's just a passive. So that's not too bad. We can take it out right away. We got a second Flanking. Although that means if the third card does damage, everyone's going to take 2 extra damage. Oh yeah, look at that. And we have Cannon Fodder for 3, which has Guard. So it deals 2 damage. So what this means is, as of right now, after that third card activates, after Cannon Fodder activates, if I haven't defeated the 2 flanking cards, that card's going to do 4 damage instead of 2. Which is a lot of damage. Not a ton of damage, but I mean, I don't really want to take that right away. Now, Cannon Fodder also has Guard, which means I cannot attack this flanking until I take care of that. So I can take out this one right away if I want, just so it doesn't do anything, and then I can work on that. But I may as well work on Cannon Fodder first, because if I defeat Cannon Fodder, the other 2 won't do any harm to me. So I may as well work on taking that one out first. So we want to try and take out 3 health. What is the best way we do this? So, one thing I can do here is once per, with Billy's ability, it says once per turn. I kind of see if I can. I'm not going to be able to get far enough out to get both of their decks because I have them separate. But if we look at Billy's ability, it says once per battle, a ranger of your choice may draw 1 card, then place 1 from their hand on top of their deck. Now, Trini's ability really works for having 2 cards of the same thing. So, since she has... since I don't have any cards in my discard pile, what I'm going to do is use Billy's ability to draw 1 card. Alright, so I drew a Precise Strike, which just does straight up does 2 damage. It's after you play this card, you may spend 1 energy to shuffle it back in your deck instead of discarding it. I'm going to put Tenacity back on top of my deck. Because that only worked if I had cards in my discard pile. What I was hoping to get was to use her ability. It says once per battle, you may immediately play a card with the same name. Now, I could do this Twin Fang Teamwork, because I do have both copies of this, which will say, play this card after another ranger resolves an attack, deal 1 hit to the target of that attack. I only need to do 3 damage. So the only problem with doing that is if I hit that guy if I take him out, then that card doesn't do anything, which I don't have to play it if I take it out. Because it's actively resolving an attack. But it wouldn't make sense to play multiple of them, because I'm never going to need to do that much more damage. So I just might not use her ability this turn. I don't think Alpha had anything that really helped me. Okay, so now I have this option. I get to go first. If I play any card, then they get to go. So I basically got 3 turns to try and take out all that. I have to do a total of 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7 damage. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to start with Billy. Alright, we're going to start with Billy and we're going to do the counter jab. So I gotta roll 1 die and I get 1 free hit no matter what. Alright, so that's going to go to his discard pile. And we have to choose who we're attacking before we roll the dice. So we're going to try and take out Cannon Fodder over there. We're going to try and take out that Cannon Fodder, which has 3 health. So we're going to roll a die and see if we can get... If I can get a 2, I can take him out. If I get a 1, I won't. So I got a 1. So he's going to get 1 damage from my hit, plus 1 from counter jab, which is an automatic hit. But now I can immediately play the reaction card for free Play this card after another ranger resolves an attack to deal 1 damage to the target of that attack. So I'll go to her discard pile, but I immediately get to a free point of damage. So that does 3 damage. So now what this does is it flips over. So now I don't have to worry about that. Now again, her ability that might have been better to use double strike and team up and do that for a bigger boss, or wait, but who knows what I have coming up next. I'd rather just take these guys out when I can. Alright, so then the bad guys get to activate. So this turns sideways to activate. Nothing happens because it doesn't do any damage. Sorry, let me get back up to that. So I flipped this one over because I did 3 damage to it. Now it's still in play. I haven't turned it sideways because it's still there, but I have to get this activated. Doesn't do anything because it's a passive. I don't have to worry about taking any damage this turn, so now I just have to try and take them guys out to clear them off the board. So now it's my turn again. I can decide if I have another attack to do, or if I have something else. So what I'm going to do here is we're just going to do Precise Strike, which costs 0, does 2 damage. So after I play this card, I may spend 1 energy to shuffle it back into my deck instead of discarding it. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 from my shared pool, shuffle this back into my deck, so that I have it for a later turn. Plus it gives me more health. And we're going to do 2 damage to this guy. May as well, right? And technically, again, I should have said that before I actually sucked into damage. Alright, so now it's the enemy's turn again. Now this card is going to turn sideways to show that it's been activated. But again, nothing's going to happen because it's been defeated. So now I have 1 more turn to try and beat them. Because I go and then they get their last turn. So, we need to do 2 damage to take out that last one. Now, I don't have anything that's guaranteed 2 damage. I could play one of my tactical strikes, which let me roll 2 dice. And then even if I don't beat him, I guess I get to put it back on top. And it just gives him an extra point of health. So it's not a bad idea. Worst cases, I have my Twin Fang teamwork, which you can always play to put that 1 extra damage back on there if I have to. Alternatively, what I could have done last turn is I could have done Sabertooth Strike, rolled 2 die. If I would have beat him, I could have then rolled 2 dice and attacked the second guy and maybe taken out both with 1 card. But then that might have been a risk that might not have happened. Alright, we're going to play our Tactical Strike. So we're going to discard that. We're going to roll 2 die. We're hoping for 2 hits. We got 1. Alright, so that's going to put 1 hit on that. Now, I have the option of playing my Twin Fang teamwork, taking him out, or I could just let this resolve, and that leaves 1 Putty out there to have to deal with later. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it, and we're going to go ahead and deal 1 extra damage, and just take this guy out. And then my Tactical Strike actually goes back on top of my deck. And then now this guy's going to resolve. Nothing will happen because he's been defeated. I have defeated all 3 Putties. So we'll shovel their cards over there. Then what we can do is we'll zoom back out here. Alright, and then we put all 3 Putties over here. So look at that. Round 1, we're almost over halfway to getting our first Zord. Alright. So I'm going to call this part 1 for this video. I'll just do these in little half-hour segments. So part 2 we'll pick up with the Pink Ranger, Red Ranger. See you guys then. Bye.